On your marks, get set, play.
I love that.
Good flavor.
That I really like.
That is delicious.
Bakers, your time is
What it
up.
do? We back at it once again. The Stage Crunchy Milk presents Krème Patisserie. It's a Great British Bake Off recap show. And it's so hard to say goodbye to Gaston. But none of y'all gonna know what that means until I get to the end of this. So worry not, we'll get you there. I'm here with the homies. It's Nick Jew.
How do I?
And it's my man Ant.
I'm so sorry you're gone, but I got to keep on.
I tip my 40.
Oh my God.
Take a sip and I start to thinking I know one day soon.
No. The Freddie Mercury, David Bowie, Elvis and Pru opening was pretty cute. I will allow for that. I chuckled at it because Pru had on these swagalicious David Bowie earrings that I don't know if y'all noticed, but I certainly did. I was like, okay, old girl, I see you out here. So
Do they always say Great British Baking Show in that opening? And I'm just
they do in America. They do in America, and if you look at their mouths, either they doing two takes or and some. It used to be back in the day they would ADR it, but now I'm pretty sure they just do two takes.
Okay.
Yeah. They only say Bake Off in England, and we get the show in America because they know it's popular enough in America to go ahead and make it. Do it. Give me a second take.
Huh.
Yeah. So that is fun. Like I said, they started ADR in a show back before they were like huge over here, and now they got a big deal going. It's like just give me two of those. Our final four bakers are Chigs, Christelle, Giuseppe, and Jurgen. This is the semifinals, and all four of these. In my notes, I wrote down all four of these people are strong bakers. So whoever leaves this week, whoever leaves will be because of a weak week. And prescience, your man was right on with that one. I was not happy about it. Yeah, it's one of those weeks, people. Signature this week was 8 Patisserie-styled layered slices. They were given 3 hours of prep time to do this. It's Patisserie week overall. No, it was not. It was Patisserie week, right? Yeah. So everything they had to do had to have basically what you would find at a nice little Parisian spot. And they had expectations this week, and boy howdy. They wanted flawless Patisserie-style slices, clean lines, all equally shaped. So everything coming out that bit had to be, pull out the ruler this week. This is the week to get your ruler out and make sure everything looked like it was supposed to. All the bakers are making a whipped leavening agent-free sponge. And I was like, okay, so we kind of see, everybody seems to know what they got to do. Everybody who they must did it well in the practice tent to be like, just do this. So I'm like, all right, fine. Here we just start running down some points. Giuseppe almost left his flour out, and I was just like, that's the greatest save ever. My man was like, nope. Grabbed that pan and started pouring it right back in the thing. And Pru was like, I'm glad you caught that, because we know what it is to leave your flour out this season.
But you see how he caught that too. He was like, how could I almost do that or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Stop shading Maggie.
She was never.
Giuseppe this week, in fact, is making tiramisu slices, an Italian classic. And I have never heard tiramisu pronounced correctly like he did. Tiramisu. And I was like, what the fuck is he making? Because I didn't know what he was making. And then they pull it up, it's tiramisu. Yeah, I know what that is. And we just doing it wrong. But not only is it tiramisu with marsala-soaked sultanas and mascarpone baume, which is the cream they're using for it. Sultanas, if you're wondering, are golden raisins.
Oh.
Which made me go,
Now don't you come fucking up Thanksgiving with them raisins in that tiramisu.
it will be experiment on Thanksgiving. If that was the first time I said that today, it'd be pretty funny. But that's actually the second time I had to say that today. I'm very funny.
It's the season.
It just, I don't know, man. It was something about that I wasn't feeling, but whatever. That's me this whole episode. I'm just like, I don't know, man. Maybe I just don't get down patisserie. Chigs went with a raspberry and chocolate slice with a chocolate ganache and a raspberry mousse topped with a super thin layer of raspberry jelly. And, everything looked right. Let's see. Jurgen made Murder at the Opera with beetroot buttercream, cassis buttercream, these little twirl. How do you say that? Twill? But it's Tuile, twill. All right, twill daggers as decoration. And if it works, and this is what I wrote, this is my notes. If this works, Jurgen is going for everybody's neck. Because his recipe was, I was like, beets. Because they call beets beetroot. For whatever reason, they had that extra little element to it. I'm like, all right, bro, if you pull this off, you are pretty special. Let's see, what would it be? The narrator, Jurgen didn't pull that off.
I just felt from the beginning, even though, they do a lot of wonky flavors.
Yeah.
Beetroot is very earthy.
Super duper earthy. But also, as we get later into it, Jurgen seems to have a method for cleaning things up. So we'll talk about that when we get a little later. And we'll come back around to beetroot when we get to the showstopper. 3 of the 4 bakers went with meringue-style soft elements. But Chigs went for gelatin. And I'm like I said in my notes, I wrote, last time he used gelatin, it did not work out for him. So I hope he has a better round this time. And as it turns out, he did. Pooey porridge is how they describe my man Giuseppe's marsala-soaked sultanas, because they look just like baby shit. And I was just like, Everything about that cake looked gross up until they made that, until it was done. I was just like, no, thank you. No. Chicks finished wild early this week. Like, I'm like, he like looking around like, oh, okay, am I wrong? Like, no, you made it with gelatin, and because you made it with gelatin, it's set up nicely. Everything did what it's supposed to do. He was just ahead of the game this week. So I got to respect that. And
not only that, Paul mentioned like the strength of his cooking.
Yeah.
And how he like his finesse has gotten better. Obviously, it seems like he be Kobe in the gym, man. Like he be in there like practice. It seemed like he's just been practicing. And like everybody else is, he gets along with everybody, but he not. It don't seem like he messing around. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Actually, as we go through it, this is just notes of what was happening as we get to it. Giuseppe Sultana is too warm. I asked what would haunt him. Jurgen has something in the oven. Like I'm like, what is you doing over here? Because this is how they edited this week. Because it's only 4 bakers, so we get the real focused edits. You know what I'm saying? Christelle's looked wild, messy as she was cutting it. I was like, oh my god, is y'all fucking up this week? Jurgen's not precise, and the buttercream wasn't set yet. And I was like, what is happening? And I wrote down all of these would have been small errors a few weeks ago, but are deadly in the semis. He was prophetic. Chigs got the handshake. Pru says sensational. Paul says I like it, but I don't love it. How do you balance that? And I want y'all to know, I'm just gonna give y'all a little advance notice as listeners. That's how tight it is this week. Pru says sensational. Paul like I'm not feeling it, and that's basically the difference this week throughout the rest of this episode. And she also remarked, if she was to give out handshakes, she would have gave him one for it.
Correct.
And like, just give him one.
I know, but maybe she don't want to snatch my man's shine. You know what I'm saying? Like that's Paul's bit. Pru need a bit now. How you say that? Yeah, you need a
We need a Pru Lee, I don't know, high five or something. Dap up.
A high five, a fist bump, like Howie Mandel. She can feel it because she overseas.
There you go. You're saying different patents. Christelle looks good. Second handshake. A bit of genius per Pru. Never had anything like it from Paul. So that's like I said, 2 handshakes. Back like not actually back to back. It's Chicks, then Giuseppe, then Christelle. But then we do get back to back handshakes, and that Giuseppe did the damn thing. 3rd handshake of the show.
Which is never happened before. Never ever happened.
Paul was I felt wild stingy with the handshakes this year. This go around in the tent, and when he had to hand out 3, like I said, this is the difference this week, people. It's like, man. And in my notes, I wrote down this truly might be the best class of bakers ever. These four bakers right here. Like I've just not seen a class of bakers at this level as I've watched this show. These people is not playing. Like they could all get TV shows easily and cookbooks and all that good shit that comes with it. So that's where my head is at this week. Technical this week was assigned by Pru, who gives you this little bug in your ears. Setting and chilling is important. And what they were made to make this week was a Sable, there we go, Sable Briton Tarte. Given 2 hours and 45 minutes to make it. It's basically a giant cookie with jam and pistachio crème mousseline and strawberries on top of that. You know what I'm saying? You decorate it all fly-like. And what they be eating in Europe sometimes. Again, like I said, we just went over this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's like, oh, that look pretty tasty. But then this go around, I'm like, come on, bruv. So this did nothing for me. I don't like the way pistachios taste. I'm not a huge fan of fruit on top of my shit. I guess I would like a giant shortbread cookie to fuck with. I could get down with that, but as for the rest of it, it did nothing for me. I don't know. Y'all think y'all trying to get down with a Sable Briton?
What was the flavor of the green stuff?
Pistachio. It's pistachio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you ever fuck a pistachio pudding, it's gross, tastes weird, has a weird nothing. Ugh.
I like Aqua Teen Hunger Force, so I fuck with pistachio flavor.
Yeah, I like pistachio flavored things too, but I don't know how I would feel about pistachio combined with a biscuit with also like fruit.
Yeah.
So I guess it'd be like salt, sweet, salt, sweet, salt, sweet.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
See, you thinking salty pistachios, and I'm thinking them motherfuckers was just blanched or something, and just pistachios.
I was told by my kindergarten teacher I have a vivid imagination. So.
Let's run it down. Christelle's meringue was not coming together. First of all, Jurgen mixing this shit by hand because he wants a super short crust or dough, forgive me. And I'm like, oh, this...
always has, like, he always putting the baby in his arms. He's always doing that. Always.
Christelle's meringue was not coming together. Started over, had to make it all over again. Chig's meringue kisses. He couldn't find his piping tip. Was like, oh, maybe I'm not supposed to use piping tip. Just freehand some meringue kisses. That then he goes and overbakes. So I'm just like, get the fuck out of here.
It looks like albino Hershey kisses.
This week. I wrote down this one. I'm like, what the hell is that? This is another note from me. This week, where I contested this week, just this week, I would have cursed Noel out. It was too much Noel fucking around with me in the technical. It's the technical. I barely know what the fuck I'm doing. This is the time for you not to talk to me, man. And I get it during the signature. That's when they let Pru and Paul have they space. And then in the Showstopper, it's like whatever. But
yeah, he was talking to Giuseppe way too much, and he was like, "Hey, man, I want to see when you did that."
Yeah. And then like
I'm fucking working here.
Like Jurgen had to finally send his ass away. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead, get on over. I'm like, all right. Like too much. No, this was your week where you did a little too much, and people would get a little too serious. Chick's crème mousseline did not set. Jurgen's jelly looked a mess while he was making it, but what do I know? Again, the technical is out here eating people's lunch once again this week is what I have in my notes. And I was just
how
like,
much do you think they weigh the technical in the judging? I feel like it is what is probably used to push you over one way or the other
Depend like so like if you had a real shit sandwich of a signature, a fine enough technical, and a damn fine showstopper, that can get you over. But if you was like terrible in one and then fucked up the next one, just there you go. There's little you can do to make it over after the next time, you know?
Because Cheeks placed last in the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jurgen won it.
Yeah, so whatever. Oh, so as we go through it, Christelle's what?
No, I was just about to say, I guess we have to think of it as, in the first event, he came last. Then he came in first. And then he came in last.
Arguably.
We'll math it out. Yeah. Oh, so Christelle's was too thin. Her biscuit was dense. Jurgen's is thick and overbaked. Chig's is underbaked with a nasty mousseline. And Giuseppe's is too thin. So all of that got you, like Nick just said. Chig's came in fourth, Christelle third, Giuseppe in second, Jurgen comes in first with what is an overbaked, but they said a fraction overbaked. But nonetheless, overbaked. So it's like...
It was the best of the worst.
I feel, once again, this week was the technical doing what it does, the best of the worst. Not necessarily that he did so great. It's just like, he was better than the rest of them.
Which is pretty much usually how the technical shakes out. Like, there's hardly ever anyone who just smashes it. And when there has been someone, it's been Jurgen.
Yeah. Yeah, true. Showstopper this week was a themed banquet display made up of 12 individual entremets arranged around an edible centerpiece. They were given 5 hours of prep time, which lets you know how much was going on this week. Man. I wrote pages of notes, people, because I was just like, it was a lot. It was a lot going on. 5 hours with 4 bakers. Oh, come on, there's a lot to do. So we're going to run it down. Oh, and for the record, just in case you didn't know, an entremet or entremets is in French cuisine historically referred to as small dishes served between courses, but in modern times more commonly refers to a type of dessert. Just in case the listener, want to get caught up with that. Jurgen is getting into his zone. You can tell it. You can tell he's prepped. He is ready. He has written down his list, and I'm like, he about to do his thing. I just know it, and I'm like, I'm excited for him because when he explains what he's doing, it's like this beautiful. We'll get there. All right, let me run down the line. Giuseppe does the Leaning Tower of Pisa, made out of Rice Krispie trees, basically, but then decorated real nicely, surrounded by domed entremets with a chocolate sponge and a pine nut bavarois with a cherry center. Jurgen was making Torii Gates in the Sea. Now, with the Torii Gate, if you've seen them. If you ever seen anything Japanese, those they're usually painted red. They're these A-frames, H-frames. I don't know how I want to describe those. They usually are on a mountain. They're temple gates is usually what they're described as. And Jurgen, I guess, fell in love with them from reading a children's encyclopedia. And when he was a youngin', I was like, that's dope. I just thought that story was dope. And so he made that gate out of gingerbread. Was it gingerbread?
I think so.
Yeah. And he made these Japanese boats, the paper boats. But in the paper boats were these entremets made with flavored raspberry jelly, matcha, and Bavarian mousse with these twill sails. And again, this is where I was going to bounce back to the beetroot. Jurgen talked to, because Pru was like, yo man, I fucking don't like matcha, and he like, let me put you on the game right here. If you hit your matcha at this temperature right here, and let it steep right there, you know what I'm saying, then that grassy flavor that I know you don't like goes away. So that's how I figured like he just be knowing some shit. He must know something about beets to make them that earthy flavor that we would get from beets not even be an issue when he just whipped up the
Yeah. When you drink, it depends on what tea you drink, but usually some more. Most teas have directions on it, yeah. And they say like when you're drinking, because I drink a lot of green tea. You're supposed to have it at a certain temperature to get the best benefits out of the tea, and you're only supposed to let it steep for so long, usually between 1 and 3 minutes, not just the whole duration of when you're drinking the tea.
The cup. Yeah. And folk don't know that, and they be just like whatever. So my man Jurgen is just a technical marvel. He's fun to watch because of stuff like that. That's just dope information to have. Like, oh, thanks, Jurgen. If I don't like the grassy taste of matcha, I know what to do now.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he could be the Clay Aiken of this show. Like he don't gotta win in order to
blow up.
Yeah, like I can see him doing like a Mr. Professor style, like good eats,
Yes.
but with less Trumpisms.
Only not voting Republican. I was just thinking about that Jive Turkey today. How funny. It's must have been on our heads. Christelle made a tropical wedding entremets with a passion fruit jelly, vanilla and coconut crème, and mango bavoirs around a wedding-themed centerpiece that she dedicated to her sister Chantel, whose wedding has unfortunately been postponed due to the pandemic. I cannot remember her other sisters' names, but remember they're all L's. It's Christelle and Chantel and Sail the Boat, whatever her name is. So, Chiggs made The Apple Doesn't Fall Far from the Tree, which is based on the apple trees that were in his grandparents' garden. And he made a cinnamon biscuit apple tree centerpiece surrounded by hazelnut biscuit, caramel and white chocolate mousse, and a caramelized apple center. Then all of that gets dipped in chocolate, and then an all-around mirror glaze put on top of it. Chiggs said he's practiced it, but never, ever pulled it off. And I wrote down in my notes, everyone has these super intricate recipes this week. Chiggs went with a two-piece design, and in my opinion, should have made 4 of them hoes. That way he had 2 backups. But what do I know? Again. Jurgen, these are just notes as they bake that I'm scrolling down, folks. Jurgen was behind, and his first batch looked overbaked. Then he lost a building element somewhere and had to make another one. And it's just like, it was just like, it was that. It was like I said, little bits of this, little bits of that. I'm just like, it's not looking good for my boy.
It seemed like his feelings were legitly hurt from the day before.
That handshake fuck with him. It did. I'm telling you. So, Jurgen's gate looks amazing. They tell him as much. You know what I'm saying? This looks great. But they say they thought his boats, and Pru in particular, thought his boats lacked the detail. But then thought the raspberry was hidden. You know what I'm saying? She really enjoyed the flavor. They enjoyed the flavor of them. So I'm like, okay, well that's solid. You know what I'm saying? A solid enough review. But Giuseppe's looks amazing. Good outside. Texture spot on. But the cherry is all the flavor. So they didn't get nothing to pine, nothing to bavois. You know what I'm saying? The cream just wasn't doing what it's supposed to do. So again, kind of like, okay, I see what you're doing here. Chiggs looks well baked, exceptional. Basically, when it was all said and done, they said Chiggs just bodied it. And I was like, that's dope. So much so that I'm kind of like, I mean, you know, you saying he did the damn thing. How did it? This is where Nick's question of how much does technical weigh become like, because that it must not weigh too much in the end results of this episode. And that is Christelle. They called that shit stunning and flawless, and it was both those things. It really was. It was. It was kind of perfect.
She's a stellar decorator. We've already established that.
Yeah.
Her flavors, they usually like them. Usually what catches her up is time.
Yeah. And 5 hours was plenty. And she did the damn thing. What I wrote down here is I think Jurgen is going, which is crazy, but that's how much everybody stepped it up this week. Star Baker was Christelle, and indeed my man Jurgen was sent home this week. Which is crazy, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Because week for week, Jurgen pretty much did the damn thing. And but in my opinion, the thing was Jurgen just did the damn thing. It's like I feel like he never increased at all. He just did what he was fucking doing, and what he was doing was pretty great. But finally, this week, when it's saying it's tete-a-tete, it's like, well, Jurgen just did what he did, which was great. But everybody else is like, let's do exceptional, and it's what got him this week.
So I think I watched it twice, and my first viewing, I was really pissed off and super stunned, and I'm like, how is this possible? Whatever. So then when I watched it again, I still sort of disagree with them sending him home, but I feel like at this point, right, you have 4 equally yoked bakers. They've all been in the bottom, been in trouble. They've all been star baker. And at this point, I don't fault them for only judging this week. Whereas in previous weeks, I feel like they sent somebody home based off of other weeks in the tent. And when you get down to brass tacks, this week, was Jurgen the quote unquote worst? Yeah. I don't know. I feel like if they sent Chigs home, I would have been like, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. It was just like I said when they did it right. You know what I'm saying? So okay, so not only did Chigs do the damn thing in Signature, he got a handshake, but everybody got a handshake. That's the thing. In Signature, everybody got a handshake, but Jurgen.
Right.
So then we're already kind of wow. Okay, so that's how hard we hitting this week. And then in Technical, it's like Jurgen came in first, but did he come in first?
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So then we get to this last one, I'm like, those boats were kind of dull looking, you know what I'm saying? I get it, it's a very cool vibe, but they weren't as everybody else really stepped it up a notch this week. Several notches this week.
Chigs' signature, I thought it was kind of messy.
His signature or is it a showstopper?
Sorry, Showstopper.
Yeah, it didn't look good, but the fact that he did that extra step of enclosing it in chocolate and with the mirror glaze is what impressed him.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was the extras that got him over. And like I said, that's funny. You was thinking Chicks that went home. I was thinking Chicks should have been Star Baker. How funny!
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, bro. My man just came through like on both accounts. But you are correct that Christelle can decorate her ass off, so that has to be respected.
The technical probably is what made him not win Star Baker.
Correct. Yeah, coming in last and technical.
I have 3 things to say. One, Pru also commented on. She was sort of dismissive of Jurgen's showstopper when they're talking in a round table. So, but I also have 2 theories though. One, for a short time, I was going to go to culinary school, and one of the things when I was going through the process, one of the questions they asked you was how good at you are at cooking, and I was like, I'm a fairly good cook. They were saying, well, it's going to be harder for you. Because you have to, when you go into this, you have to let go of everything that you already know. People who don't know how to cook turn out to be better learners and better cooks. Mm-hmm. Chigs has only been cooking for like a year.
Yep.
Jurgen seems to be one of his pastimes. So that's, as Chigs gets better, these are skills that Jurgen already knows and has down pat. So he's just showcasing what he's known for these weeks when Chigs is getting better and learning more.
Yep.
But my other theory is last week Jurgen dropped shit on the floor, so they was like, man.
You said that shit though. You said that they was gonna send my man Jurgen home off them dirty sausage rolls.
You dropped stuff on the floor last week, brother man. This payback. You ain't getting no handshakes this week. You might come first in the technical, but that don't matter. You out of here.
Yeah, I think that the fact that every other baker was completely shocked that Jurgen went home is telling the true story, because even Chigs was like, I'm prepared to go home this week, because even he knew he probably shouldn't beat Jurgen or Giuseppe. But then you think about the competition. Jurgen started off with the bang. He was shitting on these hoes, and then he kind of averaged out to about the middle of the pack. And so if they had just let him slide through and sent Chigs home, who had a stellar week, or Giuseppe home, who had a stellar week, I mean, is that fair?
Well, according to the good people over at Decider, this is one Megan O'Keefe. The Great British Baking Show, Jurgen's elimination feels like the greatest injustice in the show's history.
Okay, before you read that article, read what does it have when that came out?
This came out November 20th, so 2 days ago, from when we recorded this.
I think I got an email, or I was going through my Google News, and if I'm not mistaken, on Wednesday night I got it. It got spoiled for me from another article. So,
well, you know how it rolls. That's this Tuesday night. If you follow anybody from Europe, just kind of avoid them. and and Wednesday just kind of just duck and dodge the internet and watch them Google News of.
Yeah, Google let me down. It was I eat freedom fries. I don't follow nobody from Europe.
Yeah, me neither.
I got like a wild amount of Europeans I follow, and they always be like, "Bake Off this." I'm like, swipe past y'all little ass. Like, hush. I need to be knowing. Although I'm on vacation this week, so I probably could watch it on time this week if I were so inclined. Will I? Not really. I don't want to sit in this chair and watch Bake Off. I want to sit on my couch and watch Bake Off. Feel me? This week's all-new episode of the Great British Baking Show on Netflix was the most profoundly heartbreaking one in the show's entire run. This is already too much. Much too much. And I loved Jurgen.
Right. They're doing a lot.
The remaining bakers, Jurgen Kraus, Giuseppe Delano, Chiggs Palmer, I didn't know these people's last name. This is all news to me. And Cristel Pereira all smashed the semifinals, putting judges Paul Hollywood and Pru Leith in the impossible position of asking someone who could have just as easily been Star Baker of the Week to go home. The week before the finals, as it happens, Paul and Pru's axe fell on a baker who had been the obvious frontrunner since the season premiere. Jurgen was eliminated from the Great British Baking Show. It was shocking. It was horrifying. It simultaneously made perfect sense, and yet it also felt unfair? ? The Great British Baking Show's decision to eliminate Jurgen right before the finals sucks in a million ways, but it hurts more because the show's made the choice seemed like the whim of judges. Between Paul's handshake slight in the signature round and the show's inexplicable decision to not give us insight into the judge's final choice, it felt like Paul and Pru and the producers were ganging up on Jurgen. While I do kind of agree
about that a little bit. Usually at the round table, they do talk a little bit longer about their decision. They did not this week. Because they didn't want to say, oh yeah, he dropped the food on the floor last week, man.
While I still think the Great British Baking Show semifinals were the most thrilling installment in the show's history, agree. One of my major quibbles is how Jurgen's exit was completely botched, disagree. It can't be said enough that the Great British Baking Show was sort of designed to be devastating, at least at this point in the competition. For 8 weeks, we've watched these bakers as they've tackled bizarre technical challenges, shown through showstoppers, and suffered through some not so great jokes. We've grown more than fond of Chiggs, Cristel, Giuseppe, and Jurgen. We've become attached. No matter who's going home this week would sting. But the remaining bakers made the choices all the more impossible thanks to spectacular bakes across the board. In the first round, Jurgen found himself in trouble in the most painful way possible. Paul and Pru asked the bakers to make a pastry stout. We told you all this already. The tension was high with the flustered yelps and bleeps out curse words aplenty. Don't have a recollection of that, but okay, sure. However, Chiggs impressed Paul and Pru enough to earn a Hollywood handshake. Strong start. Jurgen was up. Pru said his work was sensational, but Paul nitpicked the dessert because the beetroot didn't add any additional flavor. So far, so good, right? Except then both just Cristel and Giuseppe earned Hollywood handshakes. Pru was emphatic that she would have given Jurgen one as well. But Paul iced the Teutonic Titan. Now, Teutonic Titan, I don't think I know that word. Teutonic. Does that sound familiar to you guys?
No.
Then let us immediately head to the Google streets. Me and my mouse is not agreeing right now. Teutonic. Search Google. Relating to the Teutons or Tetons, denoting the Germanic branch of the Indo-European language family. What is that? That you just want to put a big ass word.
Right.
Jurgen at this point tells the camera that he's in trouble. Lest you think Jurgen's nerves might get the best of him at this point, he rallies to come in first in technical. But we all just discussed this. First. This means they're going to Showstopper, a themed banquet display with 12 entremets. We just did that. The bakers were essentially even. I don't agree with that. I don't think these bakers were even going into the fucking Showstopper. I don't believe that even in the slightest. So I'm already arguing with this article.
Wait, who was not even?
The way this writer is saying, she's saying the bakers was all even going to the Showstopper, and I'm just like, hell no, they were not. It was already because if anything, like going into Showstopper, I would think you'd already be looking kind of side eye at Chiggs because of how bad he did in technical. So if anything, those you getting like, nah, my guy, that's that. So
I agree just a little bit with that because everybody got a handshake pretty much. But okay, Chiggs got the first handshake. He set it off. So then, like pretty much everybody except Jurgen got a handshake.
Yeah.
So he came in sort of first in the technical. So by then, it's kind of like, everybody won the first round and he won the second round. So it was sort of even at that point.
I'll allow for it. The bakers, Jurgen is judged first, and his design is criticized by Pru as being boring to look at. Next, Giuseppe is told that his pine nut flavoring isn't coming through, but he was smart to use cherries. Chiggs is hugely praised, told that he is exceptional, and Christelle is told by Paul that hers is flawless. The judges are particularly keen on Christelle, eventually awarding her star baker. So did Jurgen deserve to go home? If you believe that the technical is way, we just discussed this. Good call, Nick. If you believe the technical is way less than either the signature or the showstopper, sadly, yes. He missed the handshake from Paul and Pru. Paul and Pru really didn't like the muted colors of his design. You could argue that Chiggs was in the running for his poor technical performance, but he got the handshake and one of the highest marks in the showstopper. Giuseppe's only misstep was atoned for by sharp design and sage use of cherry. It's the narrowest of margins down to judges' taste, but Jurgen barely fell behind.
1 second. Didn't last week he fuck up with cherries too? What's up with Giuseppe and cherries?
He used the I think he used the wrong kind, if you were asking me. He used the what do they call it? I'm gonna call them hoes the Italian kind. And it's like, but this week he didn't fuck up with cherries. The cherries would pull his ass out the fire. His pine nut bavois didn't taste very pine nutty.
Okay.
Like, ew, I don't think I want pine nuts in my dessert, but my man can
Nor
let it walk.
beetroots.
I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. My man may have had something. And it feels so wrong that Jurgen is out. He's been the Svengali of sponge, the Baron of biscuits, the architect of all that is good and sweet in the tent since day one. And it's not like he was eliminated for any sort of massive mistake, because that's where we are at this point. In the playoffs, you lose by a point or two. You know what I'm saying? Not oftentimes you're getting blown out. Sure, he looks a little flustered for once during the showstopper, but he persevered. Jurgen is undoubtedly one of the greatest bakers to ever compete on the Great British Baking Show. Agreed. And to not have him in the final feels like insanity. Don't agree with that. I feel like that's how, like we discussed, Jurgen is damn good. But when I needed him to be great, he wasn't. He was fine. And fine wasn't going to get you home this week.
It feels like an injustice because of how well he did throughout the competition, but like they've already set a precedent for this type of thing. I keep going back to it when Ermine got kicked off, but in that case, they got it wrong because then Laura fell flat on her fucking face the following week. Now, if Chiggs or Christelle falls on their face in this final, it will just be because they just had a bad week. Whereas Laura was just not as good of a baker as Hermione was.
Correct. Adding to the confusion, there was no explanation from Paul or Pru about how they arrived at their decision. Their criticisms were there in the open, but they were slight. In their words, anyone could have been star baker. Also in their words, they have a habit of being harder on Jurgen.
Yeah.
The fact that the show didn't include a final say on why the choice was made opens doors for conspiracy theories. The producers didn't want Jurgen's win to be a sure thing. The show was ageist. Jurgen's supremacy in the tent threatens the judges. Those things. After sitting with the episode for a while, I've come to accept that Jurgen maintained his excellent standard in the tent, but his three competitors all slightly outdazzled him. It's simply confounding the producers didn't just let Paul or Pru say just that. Now that I'll allow for. You should have been able to say, man, you just got cooked this week.
But who knows if what they said or what they didn't say. A lot of that is on the editing room floor. I don't for 1 second believe that we hear their entire conversation. There's so much deliberation
for sure
that we don't get to see.
Yeah.
You got about a Blu-ray.
I think the shock of Jurgen's exit would have been slightly less baffling if we had a straight answer. As it is, we just have to rewind and carefully take notes on the judges' every comment, which we do every week on this show. An otherwise magnificent episode of the Great British Baking Show might live in infamy, doubt that, because of the weird editing choice to not give the audience a simple explanation as to why Jurgen is out. I don't think we need an explanation. I think this woman thinks she needs an explanation, but that's how Karens go down. They want explanations for things. You don't always get one, homie. Sometimes shit is just right there in front of you and you just don't believe it. Sorry. My man Jurgen had a bad week. Not even a bad week. Saying that is disrespectful. My man Jurgen had a fine week. Everyone else had an exceptional week. And that's the difference this week. His
showstopper, it was messy. There was like green glaze all over the inside of his boats. The boats were very plain. The gate was dope. The gate was dope. But if he had made those boats out of like chocolate or even like Pru said, pipe something on
exactly.
It was kind of plain compared to everyone else.
Yeah.
And what fucked him up is when he lost that piece. Maybe if he hadn't lost that piece and had to redo it, it could have been you would have had time to do a little bit more of something, but he didn't.
Like in my opinion, he might have should have like just maybe baked some boats instead of using the paper craft boats.
Exactly.
Feel me? Just an extra step, just an extra something, And he just didn't this week.
Like and then it shows in the editing, like you see that they're showing him not making that piece.
Right.
Yeah.
And Giuseppe made a fucking leaning tower of pizza. Like there were Christelle's was incredible. I don't have to think that Chig's was great. It looked like kindergarten, and the apples looked kind of sloppy to me. But I agree that the level of difficulty was there.
Yeah. So that's all it is, man. I'm not tripping. Like I said, I'm not even like I wasn't even like I was literally was like, oof. It's my man's going this week, and I had long since accepted it. So when we got to it, I was like, well, that's about right. That's about right.
No, I was stunned. Like after my first viewing, I just was stuck on my couch for like 20 minutes. I couldn't move. I'm like, I cannot fucking believe this. Like it just happened. This is a travesty. This is an injustice. And then I watched it again, and I'm like, oh, okay, get out your feelings.
I like that you got in your feelings first, though.
Oh, listen. For my boy, my guy, Jurgen. Oh, the Jurgenator.
Oh, man.
It's kind of like people who have conspiracy theories about JFK. Like, the more and more you look into it, the more and more, it might have been another shooter, but I don't think old boy was just a patsy. Something was going on.
Right, for sure. And he did get by a couple of weeks on the fact that he was Jurgen,
Yes.
But to balance it out, they also judged him a little bit more harshly because of how well he had done.
And again, like I said, that's exactly why. It's like basically that showstopper was disappointing for Jurgen. Anybody else, that's kind of dope. For Jurgen, it's like, God, bro, I can't call it, man. It's like
he did not win Star Baker for German week.
That's on them though for that one, man. I feel like they had expectations that couldn't exist. It's like, bro, don't assume just because he from Germany is big enough. You know what I'm saying? Millions of people live there. It's like, don't assume that my man knows all what y'all think is German, and it's actually English German taste at that point. You feel me?
Right.
I'm like,
I do think he's one of the best bakers that's ever appeared in that tent. He did probably the best at some of those technicals by far of anybody else there. And the challenges that he won, the weeks that he was Star Baker, it was undeniable. So, I think he had a great run. He has absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. But just myself as a fan and a viewer, I feel a little bit cheated out of watching him in the final.
Yeah, and I hope they bring him back around for maybe a holiday episode here this year or next. Actually, I think I saw the holiday bakers of this year, and he is not amongst them. But next time, it's all good.
And I'm excited about the final. I feel like it's anybody's game at this point. I'm rooting for Chigs because the bitch who beats my favorite, they better go win.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's Chigs myself. I fuck with him. I feel like he has come a mighty long way, and it's kind of dope to see that. But if Christelle were to pull it off, I'd be like, okay, I can fuck with that.
I wouldn't be mad at any one of them.
No doubt. I don't think I want Giuseppe to win. Giuseppe is a bread baker he a bread baker's kid. You feel what I'm saying? I feel like he knows some things, and I feel like, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah, you should win, Dodo Bird. But I mean, like, I'm hoping you. I'm not. It's not that I'm hoping against you. I just really want Chigs to win. But if Christelle win, I'll be like, that's dope too.
I think they're all great people, so I don't have a problem with any of them winning. But
for sure,
I'm rooting for Chigs.
Yeah.
I flat out want Christelle to win. Christelle has been somebody I've been rooting for from the beginning. Like, Chigs has won me over the weeks, but Christelle has always been somebody I appreciated. You know, it was between her and Roshika I wanted to win. So
yeah. So that's what's up, people. It's the finals. They don't have a theme for the finals. It's simply the finals. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna make you do everything you've been doing this whole time, step by step. So it's gonna be a little bit of Patisserie. It's gonna be a little bit of probably some freeform in there, forgive me, and then something else is gonna be in there. Just a really mess heads up. So I cannot wait to see how that wraps up. Comes on tomorrow in England, in the UK, and comes on Friday here in the States. And Anthony watches it early Friday morning. Nick and I both watch it on Saturday. So that's just
depending
how
on
we get
where I
down.
end up Thanksgiving night, I may watch it Friday.
That's what's up. That sounds like a plot and a scheme. Friday will be my first day back at work. So it's like I will have been off this entire time. So Friday I got to go to work. I'm like, damn it.
it's Black Friday. You got to go to work, right?
Yeah, I mean, but in reality, I want to just go to the record store because it's Black Friday. It's a record store day, and I want that John Legend. And
Your boss wouldn't care. Whatever you got to do.
Oh, I'm not worried about my boss. I'll be at that record store getting that damn John Legend record. So
I might pop in somewhere too.
Worry not, sir. It's going down for you boys. But that was Stage Crunchy Milk presents Crème Patisserie. This was episode 9. Man, it's a tough one this week, y'all. It's a tough one this week, but
although we've come, Jurgen.
Oh my God. That's Nick Jew, co-host of What's the Tea. You should probably be fucking with that. And if you're not, I don't understand how you fuck with me, because you can't be fucking with one without the other. That's just what it is.
You're American.
Y'all know. I don't know if y'all understand. Y'all, like, What's the Tea and Stay Scratch Your Milk started, I think, like the same month in the same year.
I think so.
We ride together. You know what I'm saying? This is a squad that don't play. So
y'all have more
like I said,
episodes than us because we're a little bit.
Y'all had to take time off and breaks and you be acting and then Reggie be acting and then life and so forth. So it's okay.
It's true.
We're a bunch of well, what we do matters not. So, but that's what it is. It's my man Ant.
See you
Tatum
later.
216 to you and yours. I am the Undertaker 713. We're gonna do this again next week. One more again.
Yeah, it went by so quick. I didn't realize it because I was like, man, maybe we should just do like every other week, and I'm glad we didn't do that.
Yeah, it's been real fun, and I'm not sad because it just means we'll do it again next time.
We'll do another show.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Hint, hint. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
We're gonna do it when they make the Boogie Night series.
Bye, y'all.
Hey, what happened to you? You used to be beautiful.